How's everybody doing? Welcome to Two Birds and a Third Football Podcast, NFC North / AFC North edition. We've got a full house here, literally. Everywhere you look. Anyway, Ricky, what are we doing? How are we going to do this?
Okay, so for those that don't know how to read the title, just kidding. So what we're doing is we're going to do a rundown of 8 teams. We're going to do the 2 North divisions for each conference. We're going to each do an analysis. All 4 of us are going to do an analysis of each team, basic rundown, record prediction, and 3 bold predictions. Then we're going to have a little bit of conversing on each team, and then for the most part, we're just going to do that for the rest of the night. So let's get into this because we have a lot to cover. So I'll start off. So first team we're going to cover is the Minnesota Vikings. So the Vikings last year, they started out hot, 5-0. They looked as if they were the team to beat in the NFC, but then everything came crashing after their bye week. They ran to the Philadelphia Eagles. They handed their first loss to the Vikings. Then the Vikings collapsed and went 3-8 and missed the playoffs entirely in a weak NFC North division, which was easily winnable for them. However, with them going 8-8, it is kind of, we don't know how that team would have been if Teddy Bridgewater was under center. So looking at what the team did in the offseason, for the most part, they let Adrian Peterson go. That was the big major, release. So we're in the we just going to turn out. They did add Dalvin Cook, value pick. I know they didn't have a first round pick, but they added that. To be fair, Teddy Bridgewater's still recovering, so I don't think we're seeing this Minnesota team at its full potential yet. So it's still a question mark of how good this team is without with Teddy Bridgewater. Excuse me. So with that being said, me personally, I have the Vikings going 8-8. Again, I don't think the team is at its full potential yet. Yes, the defense is fantastic, and the offense has some pieces there for the quarterback to work with. But at the end of the day, Teddy Bridgewater is what made this team 11-5, 12-4, that kind of height. And unfortunately, with him gone, Sam Bradford only makes you painfully average. You can't do much with him. Not saying he's bad by any means. I mean, he's better than a ton of other starting quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, he's not, the main go-to guy, because Teddy Bridgewater is still there. But I have them going 8-8. At the best case scenario, if everything works, 10-6. Worst case, 6-10. For my bold predictions, I think.
So you're saying they could be. You're saying they could be anywhere from 6-10 to 10-6.
Yeah, around that range. It's just hard because. No, whatever. Anyhow.
Real quick, Rick. You have before you get onto your bold predictions, I did have a quick question. Do you think that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be able to come back and play the same as he did previously before his injury?
That I don't know.
You think it's the same results?
I mean, every quarterback's different. I mean, we don't know what Marcus Mariota is going to look like, considering he broke his leg. But even though, he had a full offseason to recover.
And he broke his fibula, which is a non-weight-bearing bone.
Yeah. So, we don't know exactly, how Teddy Bridgewater is going to recover. I heard he's been progressing pretty well.
And you also don't know if Sam Bradford is going to be stable for a whole season. The issue with Sam Bradford is I have always held the philosophy, the thought process that Sam Bradford isn't going to win you games, but he's not going to lose you games.
Exactly.
He's not going to be the reason why you win, but he's not going to be the reason why you lose either.
Yeah, so that's why,
he's good for 7 wins, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, because when they started out 5-0, clearly it wasn't people were thinking, oh, they're better with Sam Bradford. What are you talking about? And then they came back to reality and they lost 5 out of their last 8. So,
a lot of that was a poor offensive line too.
Yeah, but so let me get on to my bold predictions. I don't want to sit for too long because we do have a lot to get through. So, bold prediction: I have Sam Bradford throwing for 4,000 plus yards. I think my second prediction is that Dalvin Cook will rush for 1,000 yards. And finally, my big bold prediction is that the Vikings will have a top 5 defense. So yeah,
I get that. All right. I think that the defense is what their strong point is. I could see that being not as much a bold prediction as more of a reality.
I thought it was kind of funny how I think it was last weekend, the preseason game between the Seahawks and the Vikings, where the Vikings for a season they got rid of Blair Walsh because after those missed field goals against the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs, and he just lost his cool. He just wasn't in stride. He was doing his best impersonation of Robert Aguayo, but he nails a 52-yard field goal in the preseason, and he lets Mike Zimmer hear it on the sideline.
but I mean, this is the thing. You can't win a game fully off a field. Like you can't and I knew this was gonna happen. Like when it started turning into a low-scoring game, I'm like, oh my god, I think he's gonna miss it, and he missed. Blair Walsh missed it. So I mean, to be fair, I mean Minnesota in realistic. If say hypothetically Teddy Bridgewater returns to form, this team can definitely win 11, 12 wins. I mean, if Teddy Bridgewater was under center last year, I guarantee you that they would have won the NFC North.
Yeah.
So that being said,
I think Teddy Bridgewater and
maybe not. Maybe not.
The same intangibles going for them. They neither of them have like a super strong arm that they're going to dice up, intermediate to short range routes pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Who wants to go next?
DJ, why don't you go next?
Sounds good. Why don't I go and take the Bears here in the NFC North? I figured it kind of it's like ironic I got this team because I really wanted Mitch Trubisky a while back, and Josh has now settled me down to understand that Sean Kaiser would definitely be a better pickup in that situation in the second round. But as I digress, I believe that the Bears are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. Even if Mitch Trubisky were to take the starting job, I think the main stories here with the Chicago Bears are, how bad are they going to be, or if they're going to be pleasantly surprised and maybe win 5 or 6 games. I think they have a terrible front office who just paid Mike Glennon almost $100 million. Not haven't paid him yet, but over a course of amount of time, they're going to pay him close to $100 million. I just can't. Sorry about that. I just can't see them doing too well if the guy that they just brought in is not going to really be their guy. So they really don't have an idea who's going to lead the team. Which just, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I know that just the recipe for disaster.
Because you're off with each like the off Adam to come in and be a quarterback, but then you also leverage your future to the Mitchell Glennon, who thought he was the starter, is all of a sudden going to be sitting there wondering, like, okay, well, I mean, competition's not bad, but you really kind of put this weird tension in the locker room when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, because they signed him to a $45 million contract over 3 years.
Well,
and his first pass in the preseason is a pick 6.
Here's the thing: if I'm the Bears, this is what I do. If Mitch Trubisky, like say hypothetically in this quarterback competition, if Mike Glennon is doing much progressively better, or at least he's doing better than we lost DJ.
Just keep going.
But I'll continue what I was saying. So, if Mike Glennon is doing better in this quarterback competition, I start Mike Glennon. However, if Mike Glennon and Mitch Trubisky are about like the same production, you start Mitch Trubisky because Mitch Trubisky probably has he definitely has a higher ceiling than Mike Glennon. So,
right? His ceiling's absolutely higher. It's just it's wondering when he's going to get to that ceiling and how far below he's at the ceiling right now at the NFL level.
I mean, during those games, he's played 2 games and he's looked pretty poised through both of them. The crazy part is all the quarterbacks that have been drafted look pretty good. Oh, besides the kid from Tennessee who went to Pittsburgh, that guy looks like garbage.
Okay, so real quick, let me get on to the record and the bowl predictions here. I have them finishing. Oh, I want to be nice. I'm feeling kind of nice today. 6-10. I think that's best case scenario for them. Yeah, 6-10.
Oh, best case, yeah.
That's a best case scenario for them. Worst case is 2 games. I think the bowl predictions is that Mitch Trubisky will be the starting quarterback for game 1 and week 1, and then the next bowl prediction. Like I said, it could go either way. They could win 6 games. That's a bold prediction here for this team. And that's it. I don't think there's really any more bold predictions I can really say about this team. Maybe they trade Mike Glennon. Maybe that'd be a different one. But that's how I think the Bears are going to do this year.
I'll throw in a fun little bold prediction because we're saying crazy things about the Bears. Mike Glennon starts, loses the first 4 games. Mitch Trubisky comes in, wins 3 in a row, and then that's all they win for the rest of the season.
I actually have them winning 3 games. So that would line up perfectly.
Okay, I'm just gonna be generous here, okay, guys? 0 games. I'm just kidding.
Okay. No. Listen, guys. We're completely underrating the Bears. They're definitely gonna win the NFC North. They're gonna win it 16-0. They're gonna go to the Super Bowl, win the next 10 championships.
They're gonna go 0, 8, and 8.
No, the Hank, your Philadelphia Eagles are going 0-16. Let's get that right.
Okay.
Duh. No, you don't understand. Donovan McNabb's gonna come out of retirement. He's gonna save the Eagles.
You don't get it. Nick Foles is gonna win the Super Bowl.
And he'll lose to Tom Brady again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
you don't
so
get
let's
it.
get back on track.
Nick Foles is gonna win the Super Bowl in my dreams.
So let's move on. Hank, do you want to talk about the Lions?
Yeah, I'll talk about the Lions. So last season, the Detroit Lions went. I believe they went 9-7.
Yeah, they went 9-7 and made the playoffs and lost to Seattle in the first round.
Yeah, they had the sixth seed in the playoffs. Started out really poorly. I believe they were either 2-2 or 1-3. They even lost to the Chicago Bears last year in Chicago, and I believe it was week 3. But
I think
the Detroit Lions are always a team to me that you don't think they're going to do so well, but they've got the core players to get 8 or 9 wins during the season. I think that they're one of the only teams in the NFL in the past few years who, besides I think the Buffalo Bills, who have not gotten more than 10 wins since like the turn of the 21st century. So
also keep in mind the Lions had that division in their hands. All they had to do was win like 1 game, like not even before the Green Bay Packers game. They literally had to either beat the Giants, Cowboys, or
no, I thought that was the that was back in 2013. Remember that?
No, that was in 2016. They were on par to win that. They had the NFC North in their hand. It's just Green Bay got hot and
that's true. Well,
the Lions collapsed.
Green Bay always gets hot. And what's Aaron Rodgers' motto? What did he say again?
RLAX.
Relax. He was like, relax. But the thing about the Detroit Lions is that, they've got a possible 5,000-yard passer in Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford, in all ways, shapes, and forms, is a gunslinger. He always has the chance to throw for 300, 400 yards in a game. The issue is he definitely throws a lot of interceptions, and with the loss of Anquan Bolden, his receivers are really not as good anymore. I mean, he still has Golden Tate, and he still has Mark.
But he doesn't really have a true he did when Megatron was there or when
Anquan was there.
He's really, and Megatron, but even because he's always had at least one of them, and this is his first year without a proven kind of safety net on his as a receiver for him.
And the other issue is the fact that Detroit has really been trying to find that number one running back, but they don't really have that guy. They've been trying to bring up Amir Abdullah, but Amir Abdullah hasn't been the guy that they wanted. He hasn't been. Who's the running back in San Diego again? What's his name?
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon, right? And last year, really the two guys that stepped up were Theo Riddick and Zach Zenner for them. And they added Matt Asiata from the Minnesota Vikings, which is a decent addition because he can play the position and he can possibly start. But let me start by talking about some of their additions, right? They brought in T.J. Lang, offensive lineman who was originally on the Green Bay Packers, then went to the Chicago Bears. They have DJ Hayden at cornerback, Akeem Spence at defensive tackle, who can possibly solidify the defensive line, and that's a really underrated aspect of their team because you look at their defensive linemen. They've got Ezekiel Ansah, who plays really well at defensive end. Again, they have Akeem Spence, who also solidifies that line, and the famous one of Josh's favorite defensive linemen, Haloti Ngata.
It's my boy Haloti.
And even adding what's his name is Tez Tabor, right? Or is that what his name is? I remember.
I have no idea.
Who?
From Florida, the cornerback that was drafted. Tabor.
Oh, I can't remember his name. Yeah, sorry.
So
somebody hop on a computer and look that up.
They added him. It's Teez. So it's either Teez
Tarver?
Yeah, Tabor. So
Teez Tarver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
I'm not good at pronunciations. I forgot his name. I'm not really looking at anything right now. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But they are definitely missing that wide receiver position. But if you're looking at a quarterback that could do the best he can with the wide receivers he has, it's definitely Matthew Stafford. I just don't really think that it's going to be an off year for them. They usually go to the playoffs and they miss the playoffs. So, actually, let me correct myself from the very beginning. I said the Detroit Lions haven't gone over 10 wins since the turn of the century. They did in 2014. They went 11-5 in the playoffs. So I think that this season, I think they're going to be 7-9. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be 7-9 this season. And for my bold predictions, I wouldn't I guess I could say bold prediction: Matthew Stafford will throw for 35 touchdowns this season.
Ooh, okay.
I think that the Detroit Lions defense will be top 15 defense in the National Football League. And bold prediction, Golden Tate will not have an affair with Matthew Stafford's wife.
Tate will not be a scoundrel for once.
I just had to add that. All right. So Josh, you have the Green Bay Packers, correct?
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys. I was going to say we saved the best for last because obviously the Packers are the top of that division, year in and year out. So last year they went 10-6, and they did have that miraculous comeback where Aaron Rodgers just kind of told everybody to calm the hell and why he's best in the league right now, because he took that team and he made them good and made them relevant and brought them back from the – everyone thought they were going to have a horrible year, and they didn't. So they made the playoffs and they made a run for it. They have weapons. They have Aaron Rodgers, obviously, Jordy Nelson. They just picked up Michael Bennett as a tight end, who's going to be awesome in that offense there, as well as Ty Montgomery converting to running back. So, I mean, their weapons are there for being an explosive offense. This year, I have them. I did a couple. I went through their schedule, and actually week by week, I had guessed what games they were going to win and what games they were going to lose. And after doing it a couple times and kind of looking at it, I think that this team has the possibility to go. They're going to be either 10-6 to 12-4, and I don't think they're going to be any lower than that. I think that this team.
Realistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
because
the first one I went through, I had them at 10-6, and then going back and relooking at it, I think that they could be a 12-4 team.
the issue I have with the Packers is just I think their defense is and I think that's that's basic facts is that their defense is holding this team back from going any further. I mean, if their defense showed up to play against the Atlanta Falcons for some at least to give Aaron Rodgers a cushion to work with, I think they could have beaten the Falcons. I mean, but at the end of the day.
And that was actually one of my cons. Yeah, is I think that this team's one of the best teams in the NFL, except for the fact that they do not have they don't have a top tier defense. And we saw last year what happened with the Falcons. And yeah, you guys can have the greatest offense in the world, but if you can't stop people when you need to, the greatest offense isn't going to help you.
If I'm Green Bay, even if I get the first seed, I'm worried if you have to face a team like the Cowboys. Yeah, sure, they always beat the Cowboys in the playoffs as of recent. But you have to keep in mind, the Cowboys' offense is extremely powerful as well as the Falcons' offense. So if I'm the Packers, you don't want to run into them.
You don't want to
in
run
the first 6 games.
I don't think you
in the first 6 games of their season, I have them losing to the Cowboys and the Falcons in the first 6 games.
I actually have them beating the Cowboys, but I don't know,
Is
the only reason I have them losing to the Cowboys is because it's in Dallas. If it was in Lambeau, I would have those winning because they're doing a second away game of the season. They're playing their first game against Seattle. Then they go to Atlanta, which I think is going to be a loss for them. I think it's just going to be offense against offense, but Atlanta slightly edges out on the defensive side of the ball because they do have some guys that can get after the quarterback on that team. So I think the Falcons eke out a win in week 2. Week 3 is against how I feel about them this year. Minnesota the that game. Division actually, yeah, my new rewritten one. I can see the Vikings squeak their home state. Can you guys?
But I was okay. So let's see. Hold up. Okay, so, I have the Packers personally going 10-6.
Yeah,
but I have them winning the division. It's not like they're getting
You have them winning the division, or you don't?
I do.
Okay, yeah, so do I.
They're the only team that's going to make the playoffs in that division because I think that Green Bay has enough to win the division. I don't think they have enough to push past some of these powerful offenses such as Atlanta or Dallas. I'm not saying that they can't because they did against Dallas, but Dallas improved offensively in terms of just refitting and retooling. Atlanta kept its score together for the most part. So, I mean, unless something crazy happens, of course, barring injury, obviously. I mean, Green Bay isn't going to get the furthest I could see Green Bay going is the NFC Championship game if they can get through those two teams. Mm-hmm. So I think with that being said, I think we should hold up. Okay. So I think that before we move on, let's do a final prediction. Who do we have winning the NFC North? I know we did these predictions at the beginning of the preseason, but now after doing an analysis and seeing what we're seeing on the football field, who do we have winning the NFC North? I have the Packers, as I just said.
Packers.
Yeah, I have the Packers too. Sorry if I cut out on you guys there. There
No
was
worries.
a bit of
No
technical difficulty on my end.
No worries. Packers.
All right, so
I'm guessing.
Packers,
I'm guessing
DJ?
DJ's gonna pick the Bears.
he's gonna pick the Bears, obviously.
My prediction for the NFC North: the Detroit Lions.
Ooh.
No.
Yes.
Is that your bold prediction?
Wait, that depends on what record? 9-7, 10-6.
10-6. No, 9-7. They're gonna win 9-7.
11-5.
No, 9-7, and they're gonna tie.
Oh, so they're gonna have like a tiebreaker that puts them in at the top.
Exactly, because that's the only way that the Detroit Lions can win a division.
Or they both go. Well, that would mean they would have to split the division games too, which means that they would have to split their division games, and then both of them would have to sweep the rest of the division.
Exactly.
So you think that the Bears could go 1-1 against the Packers?
No, the Detroit.
Or, the Lions could go 1-1 against the Packers, and then beat the Bears and the Vikings. Both of them could sweep those guys.
Aaron Rodgers has a way of doing really, really well, like one year, and that was last year. And then he goes back to, back down, and then back up, and then back down. It's a typical roller coaster ride with this guy.
Alrighty.
Like drop zone.
So let's go ahead and move on to the AFC North. So I'll go ahead and start. I had to analyze the Cleveland Browns. This was horrible. I mean,
Shut up.
No, but in all seriousness, so after seriously looking at the Browns, I mean, they're going in the right direction just to start off. Yes, they went 1-15, but you can't blame Hugh Jackson. He could only use so much. And I mean, I don't blame him. But here's the thing. After looking what the Browns did, I mean, I just, they added a ton of draft capital, a ton of talent in terms of, like Myles Garrett, David Njoku, Jabril Peppers, Deshaun Kaiser, etc. They finally have stability from what I'm seeing, and they're trending in the right direction. It's just a matter how that translates, and hopefully they improved in their win total, which I do have them doing that. The problem is they have there's holes across the roster, and it's a lot of unproven talent across the board. So until they actually except for their offensive line, of course, I mean their offensive line is very good, except. They have Isaiah Crowell, he is a great running back, but they can only do so much with the talent that's available to them. But
I think Isaiah Crowell is actually pretty decent. Yeah, he's pretty decent running back.
I think he's an underrated running back.
And DJ loves his boy Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson's going to be the receiver that's going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Is he? I actually like Duke Johnson, DJ.
Yeah, I actually like him too.
Isaiah Crowell. I remember when I picked up Isaiah Crowell off of waivers back in 2014.
Alright, so getting to my record prediction. I have the Browns. Okay, me personally, I'm going 5-11. At worst, they'll do 1-15 again. At best, they got 6-10.
Oh my God.
Wow, Ricky, I will actually. I'm gonna send for DJ right now and say I think you are really underselling them. I don't think they're nearly the dumpster fire that they've been for the last 6 or 7 years, and I think this year is the year that they make a turnaround. And I say they're anywhere between 7-9 and 8-8.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go 7-9.
Oh, I love you guys.
Here's the thing. The reason
who has their schedule right now?
DJ's like 7-9 Super Bowl.
But here's the thing. The reason why I give him 5-11 is because I don't know how Deshaun Kaiser. I'm seeing Deshaun Kaiser. Listen, if Deshaun Kaiser, in the first couple games, if he could prove to me that he could ball, he's been doing really well in the preseason. It's just I don't know how that position's going to turn out. And trust me, if Deshaun Kaiser ends up having no flaws whatsoever with the talent he has right now, they can definitely go 7-9, 8-8. But that's what I'm just. So as of right now, I have 5-11. Unless I could get proven otherwise.
I understand where you're coming from, Ricky. Like you said, a lot of unproven talent. I just think that a lot of people are really underselling our defense. Our defense is going to be one of the top-rated defense in the NFL.
Oh no, dude, I agree with you. It's just at the quarterback position. That's what's holding you back from going to that 8-8, 9-7 record.
You're right. And here's the question for you, Ricky: do you see what's a more likely scenario? Either Brock Osweiler gets traded, or Deshaun Kaiser becomes. I guess that's one and the same. But yeah, what do you think is more likely? Brock Osweiler being the starting quarterback, or Brock Osweiler being traded?
Brock Osweiler
will not get traded.
He might get traded to the Colts.
No, he won't get. Maybe, but he won't get traded because of the contract he holds. But at the end of the day, so let me get into my bold predictions. So my first bold prediction is Deshaun Kaiser will win the Rookie of the Year, so Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he will start most of those games. Start most of the games for the Browns. Okay. Second bold prediction: Myles Garrett gets 12 plus sacks and Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah.
And two more.
I just don't see. I don't see the offensive and defensive rookies of the year coming from the same team.
That's why it's a bold prediction, Hank, and not just a normal prediction.
Stop trying to criticize me.
I'm sorry, all my predictions are not bold predictions.
All right, so my third bold prediction is that Isaiah Crowell gains 100 yards rushing. And here's my final thing.
1,000.
1,000.
He's only going to rush for 100 yards all season?
He's going to get hurt. That's what you're predicting.
Watch what's going to happen now. Watch out, folks. No, but so 1,000 yards, that's what I meant to say. But if the Browns go 8-8, 7-9, Hugh Jackson better win Coach of the Year.
Yes.
I don't care. Because here's why. I don't think he will because of this mantra of to win Coach of the Year, your team has to make the playoffs and you have to do something significant. Are you kidding me? The fact that they go from 1-15 to 7-9 or 8-8 is one heck of an accomplishment. That's a 7-win total or 6-win total. And you're telling me that he shouldn't. The only other time that I think it was Jimmy Johnson with the Dallas Cowboys. They went 7-9. He won Coach of the Year because of the turnaround. So
no, I thought they went 8-8. I think.
Whatever. Still, they didn't make the playoffs.
Because they won one game in '89.
Yeah, exactly. So the same situation could happen here. Who knows? So so that's my analysis of the Browns. I mean, I hope they do well. I hope Deshaun Kaiser is the real deal. I mean, he's showing it, but we will see.
Cool, man. Well, I guess it's my turn, and I can't believe I got the dirty Steelers. Disgusting. I think everybody on this panel can all have the same disgust for the team that I'm about to dissect here.
I think I just got an STD. Just you saying the Steelers.
That was quick, Hank.
A Steeler transmitted disease.
All right, so this is a team that last year pretty much was the favorite to win the division the whole year. They ended up doing so. Not for
barely.
Exactly. Not
by one game.
exactly, and that hit the heartstrings of Josh over here, the resident Ravens fan.
The Christmas Day nightmare is what I call it.
Jeez, I didn't even want to text him the whole day when it was going on.
Hey, at least they beat him in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have the Steelers here, and I have them actually taking a step back. I'm actually going. That's why I picked Baltimore to win the division.
No.
Yes, listen.
No, they're not winning the division.
I could
stop. Listen. The schedule that they have. The schedule that they have is pretty strenuous. I would say the easiest games they have are the Bears and the Jaguars, and that's it. Every other team. Let me just go off of what the last 7 weeks or 6 weeks of the season go. They have to play the Tennessee Titans, the Green Bay Packers, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Patriots, the Texans. That's a pretty strenuous stretch at the very end of the year, and they're flying back and forth. There's no stay for 2 games or anything. They're moving around. So I think Ben is not going to do well this year. I think he will do well in the beginning, but he's going to get hurt again. He's going to get banged up. This guy's been taking shots for over a decade in the AFC North. This guy is a broken He's almost broken.
Here's the question,
And especially
DJ.
especially because he's going to have to go against two really, really strong fronts twice a year in the Browns, who we just talked about how their defense could be a top 5, and the Ravens defense they were top 7 in overall defense last year, but they were top 5 in a lot of statistical categories as well. So they're going to have to go against two tough defenses.
And DJ, here's the serious question: what kind of shots is he taking?
He's taking. Okay, he's not moving, so he's not. I mean, he's definitely elusive for how big he is. But he takes like 2 shots and then he runs outside the box. He doesn't instantly start running outside.
I mean, vodka, gin, Everclear.
Oh,
no, Hank, he's taking cortisone shots for all the times he's getting thrown to the ground.
Oh no! All right, so in all seriousness, though, I actually have the Steelers now. My best case scenario, now me personally, I have them going 11-5 again. But this is the thing. The thing is that if Big Ben stays healthy, which I doubt, because he's now become the Tony Romo of the NFL, where he's gonna eventually get hurt. It's just a matter of time. But if Big Ben stays healthy, full season, like no problems, they're gonna win 12 games at least. I mean, Big Ben is that talented. However, here's the thing: if Big Ben misses time, I have them going 11-5, 10-6. And that is where I'm willing to give Baltimore somewhat of a chance at winning the division, which we'll get into once we get into when we start covering the Ravens next.
The Steelers
but here's the thing:
Big Ben for any period of time, and I'm talking about if I'm talking about more than 6 games, they might only win 7 games. Because what's his name? Josh Dobbs?
Oh, Josh Dobbs looks horrible.
That kid looks...
Yeah,
no. Okay, Josh Dobbs looks horrible, guys, but Landry Jones is the second-string quarterback. I don't want you guys to think.
No, he's not. Josh Dobbs started against the Falcons.
Yeah, because they're trying to look at him. It's not just because he started in preseason means he's the number 2 guy.
That's true. Ryan Mallett's starting our preseason games, and he looks like a dumpster fire.
So
he almost looks as bad as the Jets organization right now.
Who remembers when everyone was saying? Who remembers when everyone was saying, "Oh, Josh Dobbs is going to be the next Dak Prescott just because he's black and just because he plays for an SEC school"?
That was supposed to be Mel Kiper Jr., I believe.
That's the thing. A prospect can have all the talent, like all the potential in the world. Like Josh Dobbs has potential. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. But at the end of the day, it's just potential. It's not like, for example, I thought Dak Prescott had potential at first, and then he proved to me through the preseason play when he was doing fantastic before Romo got hurt that, okay, this guy has skills as well. Like his potential equals his play on the field. Josh Dobbs, that's not the case. I mean, yeah, sure, I understand. He's a project, hopefully, and you got to hope he turns into something because the last thing you want to do is trade up to get a quarterback, and unless I don't know what the Steelers do. Steelers are at a crossroads in their franchise after this season. If Big Ben retires,
let's play a game of break down the schedule. Why doesn't somebody pull up the Steelers schedule and we'll go through each game?
Sure, we got plenty of time.
DJ, break down their schedule.
I just did that.
I know.
No, but game by game, who do they play week 1? I know you said that you gave us the last 7, but
can I get my bold predictions out of the way?
Sure. Let's do that.
Absolutely.
And then sorry.
All right. Sorry. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So I have a couple bold predictions for the Steelers. One being that Big Ben will get hurt, and he will have Landry Jones be the next starting quarterback there, and then you'll see and usher in the new era, the Landry Jones era in Pittsburgh. Also, Le'Veon Bell will hold out into the regular season. That is another thing I will say.
Didn't he say he was going to play week 1?
Did you say he was going to what, Hank?
He said he came out. I got an update. He said he was going to play week 1.
He's reporting on September 1st.
We'll see. There's also reports of him staying in for week 3. So, and again, the running back, the rookie running back that was drafted, I think his last name was Connor. Starts with a C, I know.
No,
but
I think it's his last name is Connor.
I should probably know his name.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He was the
James-
number one.
James Conner.
He was the number one selling jersey for a while.
Yeah, but I believe that he will be the one being the next Le'Veon Bell and then really lighting a fire under Le'Veon's ass. So, and also the record for the Steelers, I believe, is going to be 10-6 or a 9-7 year. One of those two.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a rundown of the schedule real quick. So I got it pulled up. So week 1, they are at Cleveland.
At Cleveland, I have them winning at Cleveland. Just
that's a
because it's week 1 and Cleveland I think is going to be shaking off not rust but kind of they have a lot of young players. So I think week 1 Cleveland's going to be getting their legs under them.
I got the Steelers taking week 1 in overtime. It's a very close game, hard fought game.
Okay, week 2
by 44. No, I'm kidding. Okay, they play Minnesota in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota's defense is pretty good. Can Xavier Rhodes shut down Antonio Brown? That's the question.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
All right. Next, they play the Chicago Bears. That's not even a question. They're definitely going to lose that game.
That's a loss.
No, no. In all seriousness, though, they're going to win that game.
No, they'll lose that game.
so that's week 3. Week 4, who are they playing?
They play Baltimore in Baltimore.
They lose that game.
That's a loss. I think they're going to split.
Jacksonville.
They play Jacksonville next in Heinz Field. That's a win.
Loss.
No, I think they're going to beat Jacksonville. I don't think Blake Bortles has what.
You're telling me they're starting out 1-4?
Yeah, 1-4. I'm telling you, dude, it's going to be a shitty year for this team.
Relax. They're taking for Sam Darnold.
Big Ben's going to hurt.
Okay. Next, they play Kansas City in Arrowhead. I have that as a win.
Loss.
I think they lose. Kansas City's defense is it's going to be too much for them to handle.
Okay, and then they face Detroit in Detroit. I have that as a win.
I have that as a win.
Okay, so we're hit the bye week halfway. So let's see, where are we at? So I got
them 2-5 or something like that.
2-5.
Or
oh, and I think I forgot a game.
2-6.
Did we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals game?
No, but I have them. But I have them winning that because I have the Bengals schedule right here that I'm looking at. I already have that as an L against the Steelers.
Win
in week 7.
Loss.
Yeah, I got them 2-6.
Dang,
I think I got them 3-5. I have them like 3-5 right now.
So they're gonna win. They're gonna win 7 straight. They're gonna win 7 out of their next 8.
But don't ask me. I didn't give you the overall prediction.
Didn't you say?
These are bold predictions, Hank. Do you know what bold predictions are?
Honestly, God, I think you're hitting on the Steelers.
Hold on. Didn't you say they were going to go 9
literal
and 7
on these bold predictions?
Didn't you say they were going to go 9-7?
9-7 or 10-6 is a flip flop, buddy.
So they're gonna win 8. They're gonna win 8 straight games, or 7 out of their next 8 games.
Because DJ, you just said you have them going 2-6 right now, which means they have to win 7 out of their next 8 to even make 9-7.
I'm sorry, you guys act like this says like you can't have. You act like that Aaron Rodgers didn't win 10 in a row, right? Or like what was it, 8 in a row? So Hank, you act like you haven't seen these things before. That's why they're called bold predictions, my friend. Okay? I know my overall.
It's very unlikely. Like super unlikely.
You know what, Hank? It's also very unlikely that the Eagles will make the playoffs this year. So
I'm not. I actually
low blow.
I actually didn't say they were going to make the playoffs this year.
Why are you sipping on that Steeler Kool-Aid right now, man?
I'm not sipping on the
Give me a second.
Steeler Kool-Aid.
I have to
I'm just
catch.
saying,
Hold up.
like, you're telling me they're going to win their next 7.
I have them at 6-2 going into the bye week.
Yeah, exactly the opposite of mine.
All right, so let's continue. I don't want to waste time. So next we.
I'll do the Bengals next.
All right, but first let's get through the schedule. Next, they're at Indianapolis. That's a win.
Win.
I don't think Indy's going to be a very good team this year. They don't have the pieces they need.
Then they're at the Titans. I have that as a loss.
That's
Yep.
a win.
You think they're going to beat the Titans?
Yeah, dude. That's just. Did you not just say they had to win the next 6-7 games in a row? So what's gonna happen?
Whatever.
Sweet Jesus.
Then they
Okay. So Titans, you have them as a loss. Ricky, DJ has them as a win.
Then they face Green Bay in Pittsburgh. I have that as a loss.
That's a win.
And then they
They
face
have to win all the rest of
Cincinnati.
their games, basically.
That's a win. I see them beating Cincy.
Then they face Baltimore again in Pittsburgh. I have that as a win.
That's a win.
I have that as a loss.
It's okay, yeah, sure. Then they face New England in Pittsburgh. I have that as a win.
That's a win.
And then they face the Texans in Houston. I have that as a win. And then they face.
That's a win.
And I have them in Cleveland. Then they face Cleveland at home. I have that as a win. So I have the 12 and.
That's a loss, and that's how DJ gets 9-7.
He was waiting for that. You were waiting. You were like, okay, you're gonna win 7 straight games, and then you're gonna lose them.
And then you're gonna lose to the Browns to end your season.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna win.
That would be
They're
the
gonna win.
ultimate.
They're gonna
That would
win.
be the ultimate.
Score.
Like,
All
oh,
right,
man,
this
they're
is
gonna
what's happening, guys. We're gonna actually have a counter, and we're gonna actually see what DJ had just said, or what I had just said, and we're gonna see if they win every game that I said they were gonna win, and how wrong I was or how right I was.
Well, we have
lose awesome.
Well, it's recorded forever now, DJ. It's out in the interwebs, so we will be able to bring it up.
Oh my God, this could be the
Okay.
greatest thing ever or the worst thing in my life.
Yeah, because they're gonna win 7 straight. Well, actually, I have them. What do I have? The most I have them winning in a
They're
row.
gonna
is
win. They're gonna win that last game. They're gonna win the last game 7-5.
No, you know what's gonna happen? Because to DJ's excitement, they're gonna lose the game off of a blocked kick.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Oh, you mean like how they lost to the Ravens? On the kick six?
The Browns are going to miss the extra point, and the Steelers player is gonna recover the ball out of the end zone, and then they're gonna run into the end zone, and then the Cleveland Browns are gonna score a point off of
I don't even know how. I even lost track of how that.
You know what?
even happened.
You know what, Hank? The Philadelphia Eagles are going to lose their team. The Eagles are going to move somewhere from Philadelphia.
Yeah, right.
I just got word that the Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore. Baltimore is getting a second team. They're calling it the
Baltimore's the new LA. We're
All
gonna
right,
have 2
all right,
teams in one city.
All right, let's.
All right. Let's
move
calm
on
down.
to
Let's
the
go to the
Bengals.
Bengals. Let's go to the Cincinnati Convicts.
All right, yeah, we're moving over to the Cincinnati Bengals. So I have a couple of things on here, just a couple injury updates for any Bengals fans out there. I'm sorry, just because you're Bengals fans, not for the injuries, but anyways, safety Sean Williams is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. They're starting safety. He dislocated his elbow in the game. It does not require surgery. But he is expected to miss up to 6 weeks because of that. And then John Ross, he just started practicing again, coming off of a shoulder injury. They do also have Joe Mixon, who I think is explosive.
Yeah, I could have had Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I think he is going to be, I think he's going to be their breakout player to watch this year. AJ Green, you can't consider him a breakout player because he's AJ Green. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. So I think that, Joe Mixon's going to be that guy. For their schedule, for their record, I have them going 6-10 overall. And that's being generous. I have them on my schedule. I have them win in week 5 against the Bills, win against the Colts, win against the Jaguars, win against the Bears. And then I did have them splitting the series with the Steelers just because I wanted to throw a wrench in there. And like DJ was saying, Big Ben gets hurt at least once a season, basically. I think since he's entered the league, he's only had 3 times he's ever played a full 16 games in a season. He does get hurt a lot. So and it's usually in the middle to later parts of the year. So I could see them losing to or beating the Steelers if Big Ben's not starting. That's the only thing. But the rest of them I have losing. The Vikings, the Lions, the Titans. They're going to lose to the Packers, the Texans, and then I think. And then they're losing against Denver when they go out there as well. So and then DJ, I have your Browns beating them too as well this year.
Oh, dude, I think they're gonna sweep the Bengals this year. I hope.
You think so? I had them splitting the series just because it's the AFC North. I had them splitting the series between the Browns and Bengals. So I have the Browns winning in Paul. I actually have the Browns winning at the end of the year in Week 12 in Paul Brown Stadium.
Oh, just to shank you, give it right to them. I feel that the Bengals are going to be a pretty bad team this year. My guess was either 6-10 or 5-11. That's where I was going with.
That's exact same ballpark. I have them starting the season 1-4 before they hit their bye week. It's just when you look at the schedule, it's just like, I have them going 0-5.
I have them 1-4. The only win I think they're going to get is against the Bills, and that's only because it's in Paul Brown Stadium, and I don't know how good the Bills are going to be this year. They're a question mark for me.
So what are your bold predictions for this team? I have a bold prediction.
Let me do a couple pros and cons, and then I will get into my bold predictions. Some of the cons is that the defense needs to focus on tackling, and this is a coaching issue. Marvin Lewis hates contact in practice, and I think that showed in their last preseason game. There were way too many missed tackles in that game. I mean, you saw it just on a couple of the big runs that were broken out against them by the Chiefs. I mean, it was just tackling fundamentals, not wrapping up, not bringing people down. If you don't practice tackling in practice, then when you go out and do a live game, you're going to be conditioned to let up. So I think they really need to work on their tackling. Another con is their red zone deficiencies. They have been really, really bad in the red zone lately. And how can you be bad when you have AJ Green and Tyler Eifert, but they have not been converting in the red zone. And then I think that comes back to a lack of play calling because they have lost Hugh Jackson. And I don't know if Marvin Lewis is necessarily a great play caller when it comes to that team. I don't think he knows how to run that offense with Andy Dalton behind it. So those are the cons. They do have some pros though. I mean, when you have AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, John Ross, and Joe Mixon, those are some pretty explosive players that should be able to help Andy Dalton not look as bad. They do have a strong defense if they can tackle, and they do have really, really good defensive line depth.
And if they can control their temper too.
Yeah, exactly. Vontaze Burfict, you're always worried about personal fouls with the Bengals. They, like you said, they don't know how to control their temper. Vontaze Burfict doesn't know how to tackle. It's you just got to worry about those big penalties. So bold predictions: Marvin Lewis is gone after this year. I just think he's gone. Even if they have a mediocre year and do better than we're thinking, if they do like an 8-8, I still think Marvin Lewis is gone.
That team's change it up.
Yeah, that team's not going anywhere with Marvin Lewis. So that's a bold prediction. Marvin Lewis is gone. Joe Mixon's gonna win Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then my third bold prediction is that the Browns are going to have a better record than the Bengals.
Oh.
Let me see. I actually, unfortunately, by a game, I think? Yeah, by like a game, I have the Browns finishing last in the division. But hey, it's improvement. It's improvement.
I'm gonna, what, Ricky?
It's home improvement.
I can't wait to go back to this podcast. Look at all the hot takes that were taken all over, including me. I took a fat hot take.
I'm not sure for those that if whoever's watching, I made a hot take last night when Kyrie got traded. I said that the Celtics are going to win the East and get swept by the Warriors.
All right. I'll cut this tension by being the last one. The Baltimore Ravens. So I had the quest of doing the Baltimore Ravens, and luckily I get to. I mean, when I watch games with Josh, I mean over the 2014 and 2015 2015 and 2016 season. I think I might have watched around 33 games with Josh. So I know the Ravens pretty well, being that John Harbaugh used to be the Eagles' defensive backs and special teams coach. The biggest fear right now is probably Joe Flacco. And hopefully he can get back. I'm pretty sure that he is going to get back. I think they're just keeping him out for precautionary reasons. Because
I think they're keeping him out right now. From what I've read, all reports are saying that they just make sure he doesn't aggravate his back before the regular season.
You don't want that because you don't want Ryan 5 picks Mallett to be your quarterback at the start of the season. I really do like the fact that they've made their wide receiver core better. They've got Jeremy Maclin, Brashard Perryman, and Mike Wallace at wide receiver. So I believe that they'll have at least one 1,000-yard receiver from those guys. The other issue with their offense is running back, which I don't consider it to be a real issue. It's just they just have a lot of unknown guys. I mean, we all know Terrence West. We all know Danny Woodhead. We all know what they can do. And even Kenneth Dixon and their fullback, Lorenzo Taliaferro. But how is Bobby Rainey going to play? Who's going to be the star? I mean, because last year they relatively thought they knew who their starter was going to be until they released him and signed him a few times. But the real strength of the Baltimore Ravens has always been their defense. They've got actually a pretty decent defensive line who, the defensive line has gone through a lot of changes, but their linebackers are also really good. Isn't CJ Mosley back?
I don't know.
CJ Mosley's never been gone. Yeah, he's still the starting inside linebacker.
I mean, like off of the injury list.
On the injury list? No, he's not hurt. He had off-season surgery, but he's been fine. He's been practicing and everything like that.
And as well as Terrell Slugs. They also drafted a lot of defensive backs and brought in a lot of defensive backs. We all know. They do have Brandon Boykin, who I am a big fan of. Hopefully he can. They brought in both. They brought in two Brandons. They brought in Boykin and Carr. We got Carr from the Cowboys. The Cowboys. Excuse me, not the Raiders.
Brandon Boykin. We got Brandon Boykin too, but we got Brandon Carr from the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have burnt toast on your team now.
And then always they've had Jimmy Smith. They do have Eric Weddle, who has slowly become the leader of their defensive backfield. Slowly become a real leader. As well as
they also picked up. Don't forget they picked up Tony Jefferson from the Arizona Cardinals as well. He took less money to play for the Ravens instead of playing for the Browns. That's no offense to you, DJ. It's just a fact.
And really, the MVP of their team is Justin Tucker. I think that. Justin Tucker is his longest is 65, right?
His longest in an NFL game was I think 61, but he's apparently been drilling 70-yarders in practice, and in their last preseason game, he actually asked to try a 72-yard field goal attempt.
Dang.
In a game, he wanted to try it. That's how confident he is in his leg.
The only thing I feel in my mind that's holding them back is their offensive coordinator's name is Marty Moronweg. I hate.
I thought you were going Morningwood.
No, he does not have. He does not get the chance to be called Morningwood. He is the only offensive coordinator that I've ever known. Okay, who, when they asked him why don't you run the ball? And he's like, I only run the we only run the ball in the third and fourth quarter when we're winning. And a few times he forced Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Nick Foles to throw the ball 40, 50, 60 times a game. So I don't trust that guy as far as I could throw him. But my personal prediction, I think the Ravens will get past that. I actually also have the prediction that they're going to end up firing him, much like they did Cam Cameron. I think the Ravens are going to start out very weak, and then they're going to like fire him. But I think the Ravens are going to go 10-6. I have them at 10-6.
I got him at 10-6 as well.
Nice.
And I don't know if that's going to be enough to win the division, but it should be enough to make it to the playoffs.
I got them taking 10-6 as the record, and I believe they're going to beat the Steelers here for the championship.
But again, my bold predictions they will be firing Marty Morenweg. They will. Justin Tucker will become the biggest leg in NFL history. He'll kick the longest field goal, which I think is 66 yards.
I think it's 64 up in Denver. Okay. I'm pretty sure somebody kicked a 64-yarder in Denver. I thought it was
David Akers in the 49ers. He kicked the 64-yard field goal.
Did he really make a 64-yarder?
Yeah, against the Packers, week 1 of the 2012 season.
Oh wow!
So I think he will be the longest. He'll kick a 66-yard field goal, in my opinion. So
nice.
He'll kick a 66-yard field goal, and I believe that Jeremy Maclin will have a 1,000-yard season.
Awesome. I like it.
So, another bold prediction. Joe Flacco ends up being complete hot trash. I'm fine.
No, I think Joe
Flacco. He's got ice in his veins, dude. That guy does not get rattled.
Yeah, no wonder why he can't throw the football.
I think Joe Flacco will throw 25. I think he'll throw 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
All right.
Because
I'll take that.
I think the Ravens are going to be known for their running game a little bit. I think the running game will get started, and I think I like Danny Woodhead, but he'll probably be like their third down, like Darren Sproles kind of
satellite back
return. Yeah. So that's what I got.
All right,
boys. All right, so to wrap it up, let's go ahead and do a full. So who do we have winning the AFC North? I have the Steelers, and I have the wild card spot going to the Ravens.
Yeah, same.
I got the Ravens, and then the Steelers missed the playoffs.
I have the Ravens, and I could actually agree with DJ and see the Steelers miss the playoffs just because of how loaded the AFC West is, and that's the only reason. I could see the AFC West sending three teams to the playoffs this year, much like the AFC North used to do.
Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, this wraps up the first set of covering the whole divisions team by team videos. I think next we will be doing the NFC and AFC South, which is going to be very fun because they're very competitive divisions. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was kind of more clear cut, like, for the most part. But yeah, I don't know when we'll be doing that, so it will be scheduled. Don't worry. So I think that's pretty good. I hope we can cover the Kyrie trade because that's huge. I don't know. Maybe if we have enough time, a little bit, like 15 minutes after this, do a separate stream. Hey, I don't know what you guys want to do.
Hey, I've got to maybe. Could we try to do this? I don't know, DJ and Josh, what are you guys going to be doing on Saturday?
Watching our friend get married.
No, he's getting married on Friday. DJ. Saturday, Hank. We'll be Saturday, Hank. Yeah, Saturday we're all going to be out on the lake in Tahoe.
Do you want to try? Okay, then we probably can't. We probably can't record. So,
we might be able to do a quick little sesh. We can always hop on one of our phones and do a quick little update with the original 2Bs and the 3.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
All right. So do you guys have time to talk about Kyrie, or do you guys want to?
Yeah, if you wanna.
Let's stop if we want to. Let's stop the stream and do a separate one, so like we don't have like information cluttered. You know what I'm saying? If you don't mind.
That's fine.
That's fine.
So guys, we're gonna end.
What I can do is I could like keep it because like I'll let you guys talk about it and I'll just take Waffles out on a walk.
All right. So go ahead and you can end this stream.
All right.
So guys, we'll be right back.
Everybody. And
it's our first commercial break.
Yeah, we're like. Screw you. All right, so I'm going to end this recording.
Yeah, go ahead.
So everybody have a nice night, and we'll see you. Ricky, Josh, and DJ will see you in a few minutes when I can get the stream back up.
Yeah, because scroll, you know, I'm playing.
Kind of have a good night. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording.
Let me know when you're done that.